"Hi everyone, it's Dean. You know, I've got Pascal." And then Pascal actually got me to sell his business. And I just wanted to ask him, how do you pick a rent roll broker?
Good question. I'd never thought that I'd be in a position to want to sell a business. And I'd met Dean, I met yourself, a fair few years ago. It was probably only a couple of years after I had my business. I've had my business for 11 years.
Yeah.
And you were a speaker at the time, at a small little training
on the
session.
Gold Coast.
On the Gold Coast that I'd attended.
Buying, building, selling, numbers.
And I'd always been about the people side of things and not too much about the numbers. It was more head down, bum up, and build my business and that kind of stuff to that point. But it struck a chord for me that day that you were able to explain the numbers in a way that I understood, and it kind of sank in, and I thought, wow, okay, this fellow's switched on. He kind of knows, a bit about the business, a fair bit about the business side of things. And since then, I kind of kept your number, and I saw you at a few other different events over the years.
Yep.
And when it came time to, when I was thinking about potentially going down this path, I kind of thought in my head that, okay, I think I may want to sell my business, but I'm not sure. Who can I speak to? Confidentially.
So we met on the side of not on the side.
Close.
Side of the freeway.
We met at a truck stop.
Balaclavas? No.
Kind of something like that. Yeah, I had a baseball hat on.
Yeah.
But from that very first text message and phone call, I suppose, where I said, look, this is highly sensitive. I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know if this is going to lead anywhere. I may not want to sell, but I have a lot of questions, and I don't really know where to start. And that was enough for you to kind of go, mate, let's just meet up.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation and just see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
And that for me,
because it was a shitload and still has been.
Yeah.
I
was probably I think I ended up being one of those guys where you saw my number come up and go, oh no.
I don't know.
Not this fellow
At
again.
all different hours. But it was, and I think you summed it up as you got someone in your corner.
Yeah.
That you can.
Yeah, well, you said that
ask.
to me. That stuck with me from very, very, very early on. I think you kind of picked up very early on with the questions that I had that, this is going to be somebody that obviously is going to need a lot of help and guidance. There's going to be a lot of silly questions and things like that.
Well, there is a lot of moving parts, and you need someone that's like, well, what do we do here? And, so that, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, it's like, what's happening here, Dean? And what do we do with this one?
Well, I've bought 3 businesses, 4 businesses, I think. Four actually. So I was fairly experienced in the buying side of things, but I've never sold. And I look at it in terms of, I've been a real estate agent for 16 years, and my biggest thing with my clients was always being accessible, no matter what the time, and always making them feel comfortable to ask me the silly questions or whatever it is, so that I can put their mind at ease rather than them stressing about something and making a bad decision.
Yeah.
And I got that feeling from yourself very, very early on that, I didn't feel uncomfortable in sending you a message at 9 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning when I got out of bed, to kind of go, hey, can you give me a bell when you're free? And usually I'd get that phone call within 10 to 15 minutes, because it was like, hey mate, I'm just thinking about this. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it was, you don't know what you don't know. And, I never once felt that, oh, look, it's uncomfortable speaking to you about these things, or, you never made me feel like an idiot, I suppose, is probably the best way to put it. Because I'm sure a lot of those questions you'd be sitting there going, how does this guy not know this? But we take it for granted.
You don't. And also emotionally, you're right in the thick of it. There's a whole lot of things happening, that we're about to potentially turn off that income stream, and how does that look, and what am I going to do with this money, and how am I going to... So, look, I guess what we wanted to say is, you've got someone in your corner, so if you ever want it, just reach out, make a call, happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and looking from my perspective, from being with somebody who's, highly experienced, a few offices, lots of staff, I had all of that stuff under control. But when it came time to selling, and it's no different, to selling your own house. Yeah, you're emotionally involved, you're emotionally attached, and that tends to cloud your decisions, or, you tend not to be able to see the woods from the trees, I think is the words that I used on many occasions. And having somebody like Dean there in your corner to pick up the phone to kind of go, hey mate, this has just happened. Yeah. They're throwing this at me or this question at me and I don't know, what to do with that. And it was always very easy to communicate and get the answers that I needed to eventually get us to the point now where we were able to sell and move on with our lives.
Good stuff. Thank you. Cheers.
See ya.